Hi, and welcome to this live reading from The Lonely Hearts of San Sity by Stacy-Deanne, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Welcome to Dolores's Delights, the mature lady shouted from behind the counter as soon as Jules, Atlas, and her assistant/best friend, Peppermint, entered the wholesome little cafe in the tiny dusty town of San Sity, Florida. Come in, I'm Dolores. The woman scurried towards Jules and Peppermint. We're so glad to have you here, Miss Atlas. She took Jules' hand so forcefully she almost popped it out of Jules' socket. Oh, Jules stumbled. It's nice to meet you too, so you know who I am. Are you kidding me? Dolores leaned back, holding her pudgy waist. Funny how the rest of her was quite slim, but it looked like she'd swallowed a bowling ball once you got past her droopy bosom. Dolores was medium height, with sleek silver hair cut in waves. She was at least 60, and despite the wrinkles in her face, her wide blushing cheeks gave her off a youthful glow and reminded you she was still attractive for her age. The whole town's been buzzing for months, waiting for your arrival. A reality show to be filmed in our little San Sity? She squealed. It's a dream come true. I'm Dolores Scott, and welcome to my cafe. Peppermint shook her hand. Peppermint Cantrell. I'm Jules' assistant and #1 gal pal. Nice to meet you. Peppermint and Jules. Dolores giggled. What fantastic names. My, how tall are you, Miss Atlas? Jules beamed. Her height always got her plenty of attention. 5'11". I'm so jealous. Dolores tapped Peppermint's shoulder. I've always wanted to be tall. Guess you and me were destined to be shorties, huh, Peppermint? Come on and get yourself something to eat. She rushed them down toward the small round table in the middle of the room, which Jules assumed was supposed to be the best seat in the place. Come on. Dolores pulled their chairs out for them, grinning from ear to ear. They sat, and Dolores rattled on about how much she loved reality shows and how excited she was to have the women in town. The few customers in the spot gaped at two black women with wide smiles and eager eyes. Just curious, Jules looked up at Dolores. Are we the only black people in this town? Dolores laughed, tapping Jules' shoulder. No. There's the Murphy family. They're black. Peppermint looked at Jules, holding in a grin. Just one black family? Well, Dolores shrugged. They are a big family. Jules chuckled. The Murphys own the Catfish restaurant across town. Lovely people. Latrice runs the restaurant now with her adult son, LaMelvin. I went to school with Latrice's mother. There's a Catfish restaurant? Peppermint looked through the 2-page laminated menu. We'll have to try it. You should, Dolores gushed. The food is amazing. But isn't she your competition? Jules asked. You send her customers? In San Sity, we're a family who look after one another. Dolores stuck out her bosom. No competition here. I mean, unless it comes to auditions for your show. Oh! Her squealing burned Jules's ear. I can't tell you how happy I am you're here. She slapped her hands together. I'm a reality show junkie. Is that right? Jules asked. Yes, I'm obsessed with him, and I love Dan Lundvall's shows. He's the best reality show producer ever. What's it like working with him? It's interesting, to say the least. Jules looked at Peppermint, who tucked in her grinning lips. He'd be so flattered to know you're a fan of his work, Dolores. When you guys announced you'd be coming to San Sity to do a reality show, I had a panic attack because I was so excited. Well, we don't want you having any attacks, Peppermint grinned. And you've been a talent scout for Dan for a long time, right? Dolores batted her eyes at Jules. Yes, for about 8 years. I've worked with him on many of his shows. Oh! Dolores pulled Jules's face into her humid bosom. Peppermint turned her head away, laughing. You're the one who finds the people for the show, so if it weren't for you, there would be no show. Dolores let Jules go. Your job sounds so exciting. Jules sat up straight and fixed her bangs. I definitely meet some interesting people. My nephew thinks I'm nuts. Dolores rolled her eyes. He thinks reality shows pollute the brain. He doesn't even watch TV. Peppermint gaped. He doesn't watch TV? Dolores shook her head. Strange, huh? Yeah, he's a rancher and that's what he does, but I can't get enough of my reality shows and they make me happy, so what's the big deal if I like him, right? Damn right, Dolores, Jules winked. You keep watching your shows. It's viewers like you that keep me in a job. The women laughed. What can I get you? Dolores asked. Anything is on the house. How about some crunchy chicken fried steak, white gravy, mashed potatoes, and green beans? Jules's stomach jumped up and clapped. That sounds great, but might be too heavy for lunch. We'll come back for that for dinner, but right now we'll take some cheeseburgers and fries if that's okay. That's great, Dolores bounced. I'll be right back. And you have to try my desserts. It's what I'm known for. In fact, I've won countless awards and I'm hailed as one of the best bakers in all of Florida. Peppermint gaped. My kind of woman. I love me some sweets. Dolores smiled. Do you like ice cream? Who doesn't? Peppermint asked. I just made a strawberry and chocolate ice cream cake, Dolores giggled. Moist, gooey chocolate cake with creamy homemade strawberry ice cream. Jules licked her lips. Would you like some with your lunch? Yes, yes, Peppermint nodded frantically. Send it over. In fact, we can just skip the burgers and get to the cake. She rubbed her hands together. I'm good with that, Jules set the menu on the table. Get that ice cream cake over here now. It sounds amazing. I'll be right back, Dolores giggled as she dashed away. She's a breath of fresh air, huh? Jules barely got the words out of her mouth before a middle-aged woman with a younger blonde popped up at the table, smiling as wide as Dolores. You're Miss Atlas, the woman giggled. Of course you are. I'm Patty, and this is my daughter, Rachel. Hello, Jules and Peppermint spoke. Yes, Rachel jumped forward, her beautiful face beaming with confidence. I'm Miss San Sity. She held her tiny waist, wiggling her shoulders. I've won the title 4 years in a row. Wow, Peppermint smiled. That's super impressive. I know, Rachel batted her long lashes. For the talent contest last year, I blew everyone away when I performed Single Ladies. Jules chuckled. Really? Yes. Patty grabbed her daughter from behind and did it much better than that Beyonce, if I do say so myself. Do it, Rachel. Jules held out her hand. That's unnecessary. She wants to be in the new reality show, and you guys said specifically that cast members must have an interesting backstory and have a range of talent, Patty said. Well, that's Rachel. Just watch her. Go on. Rachel moved back from the table and started singing Single Ladies off-key, wiggling her hips from side to side with no rhythm and no ass to boot. Yet she danced as if she'd invented the song. Okay, Jules clapped just to cut her off. Wow, that was something. Damn straight, Patty snapped her fingers. Watch out, Sasha Fierce. Rachel's ponytail swung as she pranced back up to the table. The judge at the Miss San Sity pageant said I could be a pop star. Do you agree? Jules looked at Peppermint, who'd clamped her lips together, her cheeks spreading as if she'd explode from holding in her laughter. You're very talented, Jules lied, and you got confidence in spades. Patty dipped her head in. Can she be in the show, huh? There's a process, Jules wiggled. She'll need to audition, which will be in a month or so. Rachel dropped her shoulder. I have to audition? But no one is going to be better than I am. I should be on the show. Look at her, Patty snapped. She's gorgeous. She'll have your ratings through the roof. No one is disputing that Rachel is a showstopper, Peppermint said, but everyone will audition. That's how it works. Patty grabbed Rachel. I don't see the need of you two being here if folks still have to audition. Come on, Rachel. You'll see more of us, and she's going to be on the show. Believe that. Patty rolled her eyes as she and Rachel flounced from the table. Jesus, Jules gaped. I hope we don't have to deal with this every minute. It's a part of the job. Honestly, I don't know why the hell Dan would want to do a show here. There's nothing here but horses and dust. I think it's charming, Peppermint straightened the salt and pepper shakers in front of her. Anyway, you're one of the best scouts in Hollywood. If anyone can find a popping cast to put on that show, you can. She's really beautiful, Mitchel Scott mumbled at his Aunt Dolores' 100th attempt to get him interested in that stupid-ass reality show, but unlike everyone else in town, he couldn't care less. Dolores moved closer to him. Did you hear me? Jules Atlas is something else. Mitch shoved his pitchfork into the hay with more force. You can pretend you don't care about this if you want, but it's the most exciting thing to happen in this town since, well, I can't even remember. I don't care. Mitch straightened his cowboy hat to block the punishing sun and kept working. You see all I have to do around here to keep this ranch going? I got more important things to think about than some uppity talent scout in this idiotic show. It's stupid. Why the hell would anyone want to be on a dating reality show? Because unlike you, most people want to take risks, Mitchell. When they get to the pearly gates at the end of life, they want to know they've lived, that they've accomplished all they could, and there's nothing more amazing than being on a television show and becoming a star. I'm warning you, Auntie, he tossed hay. You keep watching that junk and you won't have any brain cells left. I'm about to do more than watch. She lifted her head, her brown eyes beaming under her straw hat. I'm thinking about throwing my hat into that ring. Now that made him stop and look at her. What? I'm going to audition for the Lonely Hearts of San Sity, she shrugged. Why not? I can think of 100 reasons. For one, you're old. I'm not old, she twisted her face. I'm seasoned. You're old and no one wants to watch old people hook up, Mitchel stabbed hay. No way you can get a spot. They have to let me audition or it's age discrimination. Besides, there are a lot of older people on these shows. And what? Are you saying I'm not attractive? That a man wouldn't want to date me? He snickered. You're very attractive, Auntie, but that's not for you. Seriously, you really want the entire world in your business. You get on those shows and your privacy's out the window. Mitchel pulled out his sweat rag and dabbed his drenched face. The public treats those people horribly. They harass them online, go after their families. Nah. He stuffed the rag back into his jean pocket and tossed more hay. You don't want that. I want to be famous, she stomped her feet. Come on, Mitchel, this is on my bucket list. I want to go to heaven knowing I've lived. Maybe I don't want my aunt on a trashy dating show. Well, it's not up to you. She wiggled her neck, batting her lashes. I think you're jealous that I could become a star and you'll be stuck here pitching hay. He laughed. Yeah, okay. Now, if you tried out, boy, she whistled, you'd make it for sure. He grimaced at her over his shoulder. A handsome, rugged cowboy like you would have all the women going crazy. She tapped his sweaty back. You'd be the biggest heartthrob on television. Thanks, but no thanks. Mitch, she jumped in front of him. You can't spend the rest of your life with nothing but this ranch. Do you see me complaining? He walked to the other hay pile and started separating it. I'd rather work this ranch than be on TV, that's for damn sure. I don't believe you. She crossed her arms. You don't want to be famous, Mitch? Really? Really? You deserve more than this, she spread her arms. You're 33 wasting your life away. You do nothing but work on this ranch, all because of that little... Ugh. He stopped and looked at her. Don't say her name. Oh, sorry, she mocked. Can't say the K word. Katie, you mean? He groaned and turned around, working more hay. Yeah, Katie, that selfish, evil little rat that broke your heart. Yes, we'll talk about her because before her, you had a life. You wanted to live. Now you're going to die alone and miserable. Mitch, she turned him around. I love you and want what's best for you. When your mother ran off when you were just a little thing, it was me here with your father, my beloved brother, raising you. Didn't you say I was the only woman you'd ever consider your mother, huh? He exhaled. Mitchel, she laid her hands on his sweaty cheeks. I couldn't have kids of my own, but God blessed me with the chance to raise you, and I swore I'd always make sure you were happy and got the life you deserved. It's killing me to see you wasting away. You're a good man. I like my life. He shook his head, causing her fingers to fall from his face. Don't you think if I wanted something more, I'd do it? No, because you're scared, especially when it comes to women. Aunt Dolores, please. Katie left you a year ago. Divorced you by mail, didn't even have the consideration to talk to you face to face. Mitchel sighed. And you still wear your ring like a sap. Dolores pointed to his hand. When are you going to learn that Katie doesn't care about anyone but herself? Damn sure not you. She dropped you like a hot potato. Just threw away 6 years of marriage because she was too good for this place with her selfish butt. Yet you hang on to these memories being miserable while Katie is off living her best life and not even thinking about you. Drop it, he huffed. I mean it. Don't you talk to me about my wife. See? Dolores scoffed. She's not your wife, Mitch. She's gone and she's not coming back. Looks like you left with her. Dolores marched off in the opposite direction. What do you want from me, huh? She turned around, pointing. I want you to take that dang ring off. Jesus, Mitch, I want you to go on a date sometimes. Take a break from this ranch for a few days. I want you to live and breathe. He struggled with a rebuttal, but down in his heart, he knew she was right. But he was a Scot, and they were stubborn as hell, so he wouldn't show it. Mitch, are you going to spend the rest of your life running from love? All because of Katie, who isn't even worth one thought? Hell, you should be glad she's gone. I never liked her, and she wasn't good enough for you anyway. Do you ever ever plan to fall in love again. He swallowed, his eyes tickling from the emergence of tears. Not if I can help it. Mitch. I got to get back to work. He threw the pitchfork on the ground, grabbed the feed buckets, and walked away.